Across Los Angeles, residents see their homes burn down and are forced to flee the flames.
You can't even lie. It looks like a cool video game. Someone should look and make a video game about this. Oh yeah, GTA 6. They're probably gonna have this in the end of the thing.
Alongside the
it could be like a mission that basically it's a fog. Police starts going raining. But like, secondly, I have a thought. Yeah, that's two more, right? Since there's a fire right now, why don't they get like a large sum of goats to eat some of the greens? Like they basically like to split like a path. True that they basically eat everything, all the grass, all the regular grass that's there, so the fire can't spread more. Instead of pouring water on it right now, pouring while it's spreading.
Local wildlife as well, but somehow Amazon is still out there delivering packages. But in other places, it appears looters are beginning to move in, even in broad daylight, as emergency services are already stretched thin, as entire parts of the city have now been destroyed. But I will be careful, as apparently the Weather Channel accidentally broadcast the charred remains of a person. Now this is a mass tragedy in several parts of the city where I used to live, and I do know several people already impacted or soon to be evacuated, so I won't heavily politicize what's happening.
I'm gonna increase the volume, I can't hear. I'll probably reduce the volume. Oh, it's full.
Happening to them, but I also won't ignore the issues that they too are angry over, as we have zero confidence in Mayor Bass.
Right now, if you need help, emergency information, resources, and shelter is available. All of this can be found at URL.
Residents are now chasing down Governor Newsom.
Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him.
The corporate media blames the water shortages on their residents.
And those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hose.
I heard they like what's it called? They basically cut short the what's it called? What's it called? What the hell? Yeah, I heard they basically cut like the budget of the firefighters. They basically giving like it's like negative. From the police had the most. I saw like a thing. Like I don't know how to explain it. The police got like a budget increase. All the firefighters got a budget decrease. Like it was just like last year. And basically, that could be a cause why this thing isn't getting handled properly, because the budget is already cut.
Hoses trying to understandably hose down their lawns, hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this.
And apparently, one of Los Angeles' fire chiefs had previously blamed her criticism on victims.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
So there's an awful lot to unpack here.
If I have to carry my
criticism.
Hoping that will stop the fire. A lot of firefighters will say that's not going to stop a fire like this.
And apparently one of Los Angeles' fire chiefs had previously blamed her criticism on victims.
Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire. Which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
So there's an awful lot to unpack here. From angry residents at their unilateral Democrat leadership, how they'd like to blame the flames on you eating steaks and driving a gas car, but more importantly, how I don't necessarily hold politicians responsible for natural disasters, but in the same sense, we can't pretend like they aren't exasperating the issues at nearly every step of the way, as it's no longer a fire just in the Pacific Palisades, but up near Pasadena, over in Studio City, and all the way over in Woodland Hills as well, as the city faced hurricane-speed winds and yet left the power lines on. And even in burned down homes, the gas lines still weren't cut off, as the fires weren't only over ineptitude, as arsonists have now started fires across the city in law.
Yeah, guys say doing that just to start looting, bro. Like, it's actually dumb.
Lawless Santa
It's
Monica.
not really dumb. Like, think about it. You're basically an opportunist. Take notes. Fire is basically around the country. Fires are like basically destroying like places in the country. After you're using that opportunity, instead of running away, you're staying back. Instead of helping people, you're staying back just to help yourself and loot, steal people's shit without them even knowing. Oh, I'm thinking, oh, my thing is burning. My house, everything is gone. Oh, they pull out the chain. Oh, it's in good hands. Yo, it's funny.
Monica.
Not all the people there, but some of those guys lit that fire, and they're actually
You're saying like the homeless people were lighting fires and shit.
the trees caught fire, and then the palms are catching fire. So civilians are now lighting fires.
And even closer to downtown, as Koreatown appears to have someone burning garbage too.
Oh, that's on purpose. That has to be on purpose.
Yeah, they wanted to. They probably tried burning them. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. They probably tried burning the house. They were basically hoping after the place right beside that catch a fire too. I think.
So the entire city appears to be in flames.
It looks like a nice movie. I can't lie. It literally looks like a nice movie. Save Cali. Ooh, look at it. Look at it. God damn. God damn. Let me. Ooh. This should low-key be in GTA. Loki uses like an artwork or some shit.
As it can even be seen from the ocean, where airplane footage makes LA look like a scene from the apocalypse. So nursing homes have to be evacuated.
And sadly, the smoke is gonna be everywhere. That's the bad thing. People are not gonna be able to breathe. The quality of the air is basically ruined. Not really. Yeah, it's the smoke rising. If you wanna get out the burning house, you gotta watch what's it called? Crawl on the floor.
And people even had to rush out their horses on foot.
How many more? We don't know. I don't know how many.
Now, there wasn't an emergency alert to evacuate everybody in the entire city, but apparently that was just a mistake, only causing additional, unnecessary panic. But what is concerning is a fire up north is getting closer to Mount Wilson that has vital communication towers, as the news outlets have already lost normal connection.
only reason that you're able to see us right now is because of a Starlink connection that we just got today. That's the only reason we're able to hear and communicate with you guys right now, because there's absolutely no cell service at all in this whole area.
And although Starlink is widely available, most people don't have it, can't afford it, or wouldn't even know to get it until it's already too late, because it's hard to evacuate if the lines of communication have already gone down. And even when you do decide to leave, you very well could be stuck in miles of traffic, as earlier, some streets became blocked as people abandoned their vehicles as they fled the flames. And even though a bulldozer came through later to make way for emergency vehicles, with these huge hurricane-strength gusts of wind, even big rigs were getting knocked over. And what's worse, it was impacting the fire department's airdrops of water.
Oh shoot, that thing, doesn't it spread? It looks more, it spreads. Wait, what did you say?
And these huge hurricane-strength gusts of wind, even big rigs were getting knocked over. And what's worse, it was impacting the fire department's airdrops of water.
Well, yeah, because like they basically did budget cuts. It's basically fucked it up.
Oh my god, the wind.
Where even from point-blank range, they were still missing. Now, some of these choppers were straight snipers with their water drops.
This, and look at that drop there. Woo, that was beautiful.
Straight 360 no-scoping these flames at nighttime. So much appreciation to all the emergency workers out there, pulling non-stop hours as this isn't even close to being over. As in Los Angeles, I imagine every agency's ground-level guys are going to be fighting their chain of command every step of the way, as we haven't seen a fire disaster this bad since what happened in Maui, which was alarmingly.
Well, yeah, weren't they saying this? I don't know if it was true, but on Twitter, they said laser or some shit. I don't know.
Just over a year ago, and like Lahaina, a lot of the rescue efforts were up to regular citizens, as Scooter Caster from Freedom News went in to rescue the animals, but was blocked by downed power lines, and then came across a no looter sign ominously placed on a street with no.
Bro, people actually think this shit is effective. This is not Dora the Explorer. Oh, looters, no looting. Looters, no looting. That shit will not work. That shit is not working. Bro, if a guy has the mindset, oh, I'm going there to rob your house, steal everything you have. Oh, sure, I forgot to subscribe time. Yeah, steal everything you have and just take everything. What's the no looter? What's that supposed to mean? What's that even supposed to do for them? You think they're not still doing it? They're still doing it. If you put like shock, maybe like a robot that basically auto locks onto them and shit with a gun with how do I explain it? It's like, okay, the robot basically has like an aimbot, and every time whoever moves, they basically just locks on with the gun on it. Yeah, that would be smarter, because like people will not want to go close to it.
Outlet. Now, social media says this video is of looters, but honestly, it's hard.
Is it basically stealing garbage cans, bro?
No outlet. Now,
Wait. Is this just me?
Now, social media says
Ned is stealing a garbage can, or maybe he's just taking it away so it does not get burned.
this video is of looters, but honestly, it's hard to confirm any of this, as people oftentimes.
Or maybe they're just trying to take their things out of the house instead of. That's why you loot while someone's recording. I see people still do it, so I don't know.
Find old footage and pass it around as new, or
Hey, yo. That's low-key loud, bro.
mislabel it, so who knows
Bro, I'm gonna...
what's really happening at this point. But stuff like this is hard to dismiss. People that don't speak English with a way out of state license plate saying they're coming in to check in on their home. But what we do know, they are already arresting looters.
I talked about the 20 arrests that have been made so far. Unfortunately, I do expect that to go up. We're not going to tolerate.
Yeah, because, like, usually when people are in crisis, people are going to want to take it for their own advantage. It's just becoming an opportunist. They're just opportunists.
That kind of activity.
And hopefully LA's new DA will actually throw the book at them.
The DA's office, working with law enforcement, is going to arrest you, they're going to prosecute you, and you will be punished to the full extent of the law. That's a promise.
And I've seen plenty of angry posts online about looters in LA, but it's pretty true, as anybody that wants to take advantage of people already losing their home is pretty unfixable and likely won't ever be a positive member of society. So I'm personally alright with life sentences for anyone looting during times like these, and additionally, anybody committing arson in times like these. As when the community is most vulnerable, if you're somebody that would go out of your way to make it worse, either for personal gain or because you're criminally insane, I see literally no positive in letting them remain in society, so why not make an example out of them? As right now, the main Palisades fire is at 0% containment. And on the other side of the 101, the Woodland Hills fire quickly exploded, and as fast as the winds died down, we're in for more high winds tomorrow. As we're now seeing fire risks all the way through the Inland Empire, Orange County down to San...
Bro, like I said, just get a lot of goats or sheep, so go past the area, basically eat all the grass and shit. Actually, there's wood there, so like, that's basically flammable too. Like, just get goats, maybe clear the ground so it does not spread that easily to trees and stuff. Maybe that could help. Make it better.
San Diego County, which is horrifying when you see the drone footage of the Eden Fire in Altadena, the aftermath of the fire sweeping through the Pacific Palisades, and up close, it literally looks like a war zone. Now the current... Caruso Mall is still intact, which is ironic, as Rick Caruso ran for mayor in Los Angeles in 2022, where he warned about our fire department's issues.
And there's a deep concern throughout this city that the paramedics and the firefighters are understaffed because their budget has not been restored. My plan as mayor is simple. We are going to restore the budget to bring the staffing levels back, to give the residents of Los Angeles the service they pay for and deserve.
Only to lose to Karen Bass, who almost immediately cut the fire department's budget.
Damn, bro. Damn, bro. That's honestly crazy. You got probably voted for it. That's probably voted for her because like she's a woman, and they want. That's probably the main reason. Crazy. Not it's for her to help.
By over $17 million, making it her second largest cut.
And look at this shit. See? Minus 17.6 million. This is basically what I was talking about. Police got the most. Libraries, housing, city, families, and invest recreation, parks, and building facility, finance, and other places. Well, shit went negative. At least cut the police in like maybe half. That'll still keep it, and just increase everything else. Okay, minus actually sanitation should be good too. People don't want to get diseases and stuff. She put everything in police. Took everything away from the rest. Crazy.
Just beneath the street services. So after returning from her visit to Ghana to attend
'Cause besides that, cold is garbage.
a wedding that for some reason or taxes paid for, she had nothing to say.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens?
Damn. Wait. Didn't Elon? I remember. Wait.
To say today, millions of dollars were burning.
From her visit to Ghana to attend a wedding that for some reason or taxes paid for, she had nothing to say.
Do you owe citizens an apology for being absent while their homes were burning? Do you regret cutting the fire department budget by millions of dollars, Madam Mayor? Have you nothing to say today?
Can you back up? Appreciate it.
Have you absolutely nothing to say to the citizens today? Elon Musk says that you're utterly incompetent. Are you considering your position?
Was he wrong? I don't even think he was wrong. Like, look, she's not even saying a word. At least defend yourself. Oh, he was not right. It was just misunderstanding.
And when she did finally speak, it wasn't any better.
But can you address the criticism now over the budget issue and the slashing, $17 million
You know,
slashing
I
of
think
the
if
budget?
you go back and look at the reductions that were made, there were no reductions that were made that would have impacted the situation that we were dealing with.
Could help the situation if there were more, planes to be dropping water on the fires. Could low-key impact the situation and make it better. Maybe that's not part of it. Oh, less people working. Oh, less of the job gets. Less people working. It takes a longer time for the thing to keep going. Takes a longer period of time if less people are working than if more people are working. It would be way quicker, depending on what the thing is. Just think about it. Oh, it's not gonna affect. It was not gonna affect anything. Oh, that's why the fire is still spread. There's nothing else.
Over the last couple.
I think she just wanted protection from the police. That's all. More protection if they're already doing it. Give them 100 mil, bro. just split it, or just okay, get the police like I would say 60 mil. Okay, nah. Okay, maybe, just maybe. Yes, okay, just cut that in half and just share it on. 60 mil, no. 50 mil, 50 mil would be good. After you just split it around with all the other ones. And no, you decide to do some stupid shit. Boom. Fucking firefighting goes into negatives, bro.
Of days.
Which is the complete opposite of what her own fire chief stated a month ago, explaining the elimination of $7 million in overtime variable staffing hours adversely affects their core operations, including fire prevention. It limits the department's ability to prepare, train, and respond to large-scale emergencies like wildfires. As now, the Los Angeles fire chief states there's not enough firefighters. Now, if the mayor is too stupid to realize saying, find emergency info at URL, I somehow doubt she's going to understand cutting the fire department's budget is going to impact their ability to fight fires. But at this point, I think politicians aren't even human, because let's just take the whole standing there in silence while being asked about her absence. A regular person can own up to their mistakes and say, hey, we had this political trip planned out for months, and last week, we made the mistake of underestimating how bad these winds would be. But as soon as I heard the fires were breaking out, we rearranged my flight from Africa to right now, and here I am on day 2 to coordinate relief efforts. That's not a great response for the citizens.
Maybe she was probably trolling when she was getting it.
But at least it's a response for this.
Sure, what the hell happened? We're gonna have to wait. No, I didn't even shoot the right place, bro. Yeah, right here.
Citizens, and even if she says that exact thing later, it's still more scripted PR approved nonsense, as sadly, normal human interactions are no longer in our politicians' playbooks. It's all just silence and lies. Silence over her prioritizing weddings in Ghana over the city, and lies about her own policies increasing the fire's devastation. But finally, these lies are simply too obvious to get away with, as what happens after you slash a budget takes a bit of effort to piece together. But your house burning down and not having water to put it out is something politicians can't just pretend isn't happening, as she tried to blame the fire hydrants not having water on the wind.
How are we addressing these water problems that are continuing, and is it acceptable that they continue?
Well, let me just say that the water problems are a little better now because the winds are such that we can go up and have the air support. And you know that that was the reason that the devastation was so bad, the unprecedented wind.
And even Fox News tried to say it wasn't happening.
And all of these residents are paying the ultimate price for that.
Despite what you have heard from Caruso, no firefighters have told us that they are running out of water.
And let's go out to Gigi Graciette. She is live in Pacific Palisades. I know your signal's not the best, but Gigi, what can you tell us?
Well, firefighters have told me they have no water on this block. And
Now, I normally would say it's hilarious for a mainstream media news anchor to say the fire hydrants do have water, then their own journalist straight up calls out their lie right after. But it's not funny, it's infuriating to know that most people do trust the news, and their lives would be in greater danger because of it. As the city knows the fire hydrants don't have water.
With Lindsay Horvath, one of the board members for the LA County Supervisors, and said, you know, how does this happen? And she said, look, we need to do changes, and we're in the midst of already talking about a different water plan for LA County.
And tragically, now the citizens know too.
There's no water. There's no f***ing water. There's no f***ing water. Motherfuckers.
As some Los Angeles residents have resorted to fighting the fires with almond milk. And again, When the fire hydrants ran out of water, the mainstream media wants to blame the citizens.
Up in the hills and the mountains, they have these giant water tanks that use gravity, and those water tanks ran dry. Part of the problem is a lot of people are using hoses trying to...
How infuriating would it be to live in one of those expensive LA neighborhoods, paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in property tax over the years, all to not have water or firefighters to protect your home in the very predictable event that a wildfire will break out. And when your home burns down, you turn on the TV to see this is your fault for using what little water was available, and that's after the media and politicians tried to pretend that wasn't actually happening. Now, they do finally admit why there was no water to fight the fires.
We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning. Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants and the hills of Palisades, and because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line, and so much water was being used before it could get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line.
Which is something former McDonald's employee Donald Trump addressed.
Well, it's very sad because I've been trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish, which is in other areas, by the way, called the smelt. And for the sake of a smelt, they have no water. They had no water in the fire hydrants today in Los Angeles. It was a terrible thing.
Now, it sounds ridiculous that there would be a water shortage over this fish, so Trump even ran his campaign for president on solving California's water crisis.
And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border, and I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has.
And even in 2018, during his first administration, he instructed Newsom to better prepare the state for wildfires.
Got to take care of the floors, the floors of the forests, very important. You look at other countries where they do it differently, and it's a whole different story. And they spend a lot of time on raking and cleaning and doing things, and they don't have any problem. And when it is, it's a very small problem.
So again, you don't want to politicize suffering, but when your politicians prioritize their vanity projects over our safety, it's actually irresponsible to ignore the political portion of why this suffering is happening. So when Newsom saw Trump's comments, he took to Twitter to complain about him politicizing the unprecedented fires. And yes, people have lost their lives both figuratively and literally, so you don't want to use someone's tragedy to say, I told you so. But in Newsom's entire softball interview on CNN, he never actually provides any solutions. He never answers for the failures of his own administration. It all just looks like B-roll for his presidential campaign, as it might look like he's actually doing something productive, standing in front of somebody's house being burned down, and yet another fiery but mostly peaceful liberal failure. But in all this time of unilateral liberal leadership in California, $7 billion and an entire decade produced nothing for their water project. Unless you mean for a certain Eastern European country that apparently got our firefighting supplies a couple years ago. As now, the citizens are finally snapping.
That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
Well, look, bro, man, pull out. Oh, look right here. I literally doing it. Pulling out the facts on it. Crazy. Actually crazy.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the
Why
call.
is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
Interesting how I'm literally talking to the president right now turns into I literally don't have any cell service. As he obviously has zero answers for her, he just wants to slither away before this looks any worse than it already does. And the simple fact that he doesn't have any solutions for her other than "I'm gonna call Biden" shows that this is nothing but a photo op for him. Newsom could have called Biden from Sacramento, but no, he had to slop on some hair gel and sunglasses for some faux support footage, then speed off after accomplishing a whole lot of nothing. As what exactly is Biden doing? Bragging about being a great-grandfather.
The good news is, I'm a great-grandfather as of today.
And when he actually addresses the wildfires, he jokes about it.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the president throws it to the vice president.
And it's messed up, but I don't mind it, as I too try to cut the tension with crappy jokes. I just find it interesting how Kamala was obviously about to say something, but CNN can't help themselves but cover for Biden, so they can't even let her speak just to make certain Biden doesn't say anything more stupid. But now, Governor Newsom, Mayor Bass, and FEMA have all gathered together to try to tackle the disaster, which if you remember what happened in Hawaii, this may just impede the local relief efforts. And I forgot who said it, but it was, "The scariest sentence ever spoken is, I'm from the government and I'm here to help." As there are plenty of instances in Lahaina of people trying to jet ski in supplies, only to be blocked by our own official relief efforts. And sadly, all that stuff was just memory hold.
Funny though, not really fun. Not. Guys are not. Actually, at least they're trying to help. Just trying to quench the fire with milk. That's not ruin it. Actually,
But we can get lessons from this random anonymous account that said they lived through the Colorado fires, stating be prepared for a painfully slow recovery process, so rental prices are going to skyrocket. Adjacent school districts will overflow with students, demand for cars and furniture will be high, and pets will need homes. And just like in Maui, scumbags will try to lowball desperate homeowners for their land, and people will be stressed out and angry, so be kind and help where you can. That all sounds like excellent advice, as I'm still in a lot of group chats with friends in LA, and it really sounds like the community's pulling together to help those most impacted. But that's as there's only a few pockets of devastation in the city, so who knows what could happen if another round of wildfires breaks out, radio and cell service goes down, and already overwhelmed emergency services are needed to assist 5 to 10 times the amount of people. Now, I don't want to be a doomer, but being realistic, no matter where you are, we all should start thinking about what you would do in the event of a natural disaster like this, with absolutely nobody, not even a cell phone, that could help you, as you easily could be left without food, water, or electricity for weeks. And it does you absolutely nothing when the mayor just says, help can be found at U or L. So if you appreciate my concise, and sometimes lighthearted commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality,
that's actually what she said.